We're going to start, so please mute yourself. And I want to welcome everyone. And we have a very interesting program coming up. And before I turn everything over to Deborah, I just want to remind everyone that the Sisterhood Shalach Manat information has to be in by February 11th, which is 2 days from now. So if you have not sent in your check with your form at this moment, please call Iris and let her know that you will be putting it in the mail so we could count you. And now I will turn the program over to Deborah. Deborah, unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's great to see such good turnout today. Welcome. Before I introduce our guests from the Jewish Museum of Florida, I just want to add a personal note. When the snowbirds are back in Florida next winter, yes, let's be positive, please go to the museum. It's always got some wonderful, interesting exhibits. I've been there, personally can recommend it. Okay, I am very pleased to welcome Susan Gladstone Pasternak, who was appointed as the Executive Director for the Jewish Museum of Florida in June 2017. She brings more than 30 years of executive experience at the national and global levels. Ms. Pasternak has served—
Oh, there she is.
Yeah. She has served in several—
But I didn't do anything and it locked me out. So was anybody else on there? Did you see me?
Can everybody mute themselves, please?
Oh, mute
Thank
themselves.
you. Thank you. She has most recently served in several prominent leadership positions in the U.S. and abroad, most recently as Director of Development for the Museum and for all of Florida International University's Jewish Strategic Initiatives, including the University Global Jewish Studies Program, Holocaust Studies, and Hillel FIU. She has a Master's of Social Work from Yeshiva University and a Bachelor's of Social Work from Florida International University. She's a lifelong member of the Jewish community in Miami and the daughter of a rabbi who championed the importance of acceptance and tolerance. I would also like to welcome Jacqueline Goldstein, who is the curator of the Jewish Museum. During the course of her almost 9 years at the museum, she has curated many exhibits, including Tennessee Williams, playwright and painter, Preservation and Renewal, Bauhaus Buildings in Tel Aviv, Judith Lieber, our program today, and Judio e Cubana. Several exhibitions curated have appeared in the New York Times, Ocean Drive Magazine, Miami Art Zine, and 360 magazine, among others. Jacqueline received her MA in art history from City College of New York and was awarded the Connor Travel Grant for Research. And finally, I'd like to thank Nancy Doyle-Cohn, who manages the day-to-day operations at the museum and who was instrumental in facilitating today's program, as well as our very own Melissa Gerstein. I guess everybody's muted, so I can now very gladly turn the program over to the guests from Jewish Museum of Florida.
Thank you so much. My name is Susan Gladstone Pasternak, and I am the very proud Executive Director of the Jewish Museum of Florida, FIU, which stands for Florida International University. We've been part of the university since 2012. And it is our great pleasure to be able to bring this beautiful exhibit to you today. Let me just tell you a little bit about the museum. We are just celebrated our 25th anniversary. And we are located in the two buildings that comprise the first Orthodox synagogue on Miami Beach, located in the very bottom of the beach in this furthest south area of Miami Beach. One of our buildings, and you will see as Jacqueline takes you through the tour, is a completely renovated Art Deco building from 1936. And you will see the beautiful stained glass windows, and the original chandeliers. Everything has been beautifully restored. And you will see how Jacqueline explained to you how beautifully the light coming through the stained glass windows reflects off of the beautiful, beautiful crystals on the Judith Lieber bags. All of the bags that you'll see and belts and other objects that she created were curated from our membership. And so we were able to completely curate this from within, by ourselves. And it was a wonderful opening where we had all of the different owners of all of the bags come. That was on March 1st, a year ago. And of course, a week later, we had to close it. But we were able to turn it into this beautiful virtual reality tour, which you will be able to see today. And we have been able to present this to different groups all around the country. And they're continuing to do so. We've been doing it since March of last year, and we're just so pleased that there's still an interest in Judith Lieber. She is a very inspirational woman who was a Holocaust survivor, and her work, of course, is just gorgeous. And if any of you have Judith Lieber bags, you know that. And sometimes when we have these groups, people hold up their bags if they have them. Some of them have them as gifts, others have inherited them from family members. So you could decide among yourselves if you want to do that. But so we are just about getting ready to reopen the museum by appointment only. We have been closed all this time, but it is my great hope that in the near future we'll be able to be open. People will be able to travel, and that some of you will be in our neighborhood, and that you will come in and visit us at our beautiful, beautiful museum. And please mention, if you do so, that you met us here on one of our virtual tours. And having said that, at this point, I'm going to turn the program over to our curator, Jacqueline Goldstein.
Actually, Susan, I'm going to take it for a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the video.
Okay, we're going to show
the video first.
I'm Nancy Cohen, and I want to thank you for letting us come into your homes today for this tour. I'm going to show you a 2-minute video about how they make the Judith Lieber bags. And then at that point, I'm going to turn it over to our curator, Jacqueline Goldstein. Thank you, Susan, for the wonderful warm up. And let me share my screen, and take me a second to get it all squared away. Did I lose it? There we go. Just want to make sure that you can hear it. It's always a problem. If you can't hear it, let me know.
Okay.
Love of craftsmanship is at the heart of Judith
the
Lieber.
screen.
Learning from masters at the handbag makers
No,
artist
I
guild in
see it.
Budapest. The only woman admitted.
Nancy, we're not seeing the film.
Okay, I'll start it over. Hold on.
While Nancy's getting her set up, just one last minute reminder, everybody please mute themselves. It's appreciated. Thank you.
I did.
It's not. I'm sorry, we're going to go to Jackie real quick, and then I'll come back at the end and show you the purses, okay?
Good. So should I?
Yeah, go ahead, Jackie. I'm having a little technical problem here, so go ahead.
Problem. Can everybody see my screen? Thumbs up if you see my
Yes.
It's really a pleasure to be with you guys today and show you around this exhibition. First, I did want to show you really quickly what Susan was talking about with the lights. Is if you see around the perimeter of the gallery, all these stained glass windows were refracting. So they refract like, anyway, throughout the day. But as I was doing this installation, and I'll show you as we go through it, the sunlight was making these bags, as I was installing them, really just explode with color and light. And as I held them in my hands, I couldn't believe it. I'll show you as we walk through, but this, in 20 years of curating, this was, I have to say, and I've worked at the Met, I've worked at the Guggenheim, I'm in a Jewish Museum in New York. This was probably one of my favorite shows to install. And you'll see why as I, drive you through it. The way that, as Susan explained, what happened was, as far as getting bags for the exhibition, I went first to a collector, who was also a member, and she had so many pieces that it just snowballed into, oh, you got to meet this person who was also a member. And it just turned out that after 100 pieces, I had to stop collecting. And it turned out to be only from our members, which was really amazing. We didn't set out to do it that way, but I had to close out at 100 items. And so let me bring you in. As far as photographs,
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure that,
internal audio. There's another one.
We good? I wanted to show you, make sure I showed you the woman behind the bags, because it's really an amazing story of a Holocaust survivor who really enabled her dreams and was able to overcome such a horrific, time and become one of the most celebrated fashion icons of her day. Anybody who knows, handbags knows Judith Lieber. So I contacted the Lieber collection in New York. And as you see this picture here, this is Judith with her sister Ava in 1932 in Budapest. And I worked with the Lieber collection in New York to get photographs. And this is her school papers also in Budapest. Like I said, to make sure, and as I take you through, so we get an idea of her life and her story prior to coming to the States. So she was born in Budapest in 1921. And she was the first woman to be invited into the Hungarian Handbag Guild, which was really quite a feat, quite an honor. She had apprenticed with the Jewish-owned Pesel handbag factory in Budapest prior to the war. And that is where, she developed her skill to such an extent that she was renowned throughout, Hungary. And that's why she was, as I said, invited into the guild. This is a picture of Judith with her husband at their wedding picture, Gerson Lieber. And before I jump into Gerson, he was an American GI stationed in Budapest, and they met on the streets right after Budapest was liberated. So what was happening in Hungary during the war, World War II, is that pretty much Hungary was one of the last places that the Jews, up until about 1944, were pretty much able to move around. And it was by 1944 when Jews were herded into a ghetto area at first, just an area. And Judith was able, through a friend, to procure a pass from the Swiss consulate, which enabled her family to stay together, which lasted a few months. And then that was it. By the end of 1944, all the Jews were herded into a very small ghetto area, and the Nazis were fighting the Russians, and Judith with her family were living 60 people to a basement, and they had to move from basement to basement to hide from the shelling and the bombing going on all around them. And they would go up one by one person to search for food, someone for water. And as you can imagine, during that time, it was horrific. And what Judith had to say about that is, later on in life, she remarked that one of the things that helped her stay sane was creating these fantastical handbags in her mind, full of light and crystal and all different kinds of shapes, things that, had never been seen before, but she was just using in her imagination. And she ended up, as you can see through the exhibit, achieving that. So this is Judith and Gerson. They met right on the street after Budapest was liberated. It was a love story that lasted through 2018, when they both died within hours of each other. So that was, such a beautiful story. And so here they are. They marry, they moved to the States in 1946. And Judith began working as a pattern maker right away in New York. And let me take you into the bags right now. Judith and Gerson, Judith basically became so well known that by 1963, she decided, along with Gerson, they were going to form their own company. And it was time. I mean, her name by 1963 had become really well known in the industry. So much so, again, that she started her own company and became immediately successful. She started with what is known as the skin bags, which are leather bags, and metal minaudiers. She was not the first person to make a minaudier. I mean, that's just French for a metal, basically a clutch. But she was the first to put crystals on them. And how did that happen? Is 1967, where I was very fortunate in this exhibition to get the first minaudier that she ever designed with the crystals as far as the last one. And I wanted to be as comprehensive as possible when designing the exhibition so everybody would be able to see the different colors and sizes and shapes. She did work with a palette of over 130 different colors, which is really remarkable. Sourced the stones from all over the world. And let's go back to 1967. Judith, they would create a pattern in the States and send the prototype over to Italy. And the metal bag would be made, cast in either gold, silver, bronze, and sent back to the States for sale. And Judith received one back and had been tarnished, and they couldn't sell a tarnished metal bag. So what did they do? They created a pattern on the bags and went out and got crystals, because, in New York City, where I'm born and raised, at the time, you could get everything, in the city, as far as a fashion design district, etc. So they ran out, they were able to procure all these crystals and put them one by one onto the handbags at a time with a long instrument that they would literally dip into some kind of adhesive, whether it was beeswax, etc., and put them on the bag one at a time. And it was only Judith and 3 other people working together in her factory to make these bags. So each bag took up to 2 years to make each bag, which was really a remarkable feat. So here we are. This is the first one that she ever designed, this shell bag. I want to take you back to this picture here, which is really interesting. You see this book stack, which has, each of these bags have a lot of different cool elements. This is a rope tassel on the bag that you can either use as a shoulder, or it can just hang as an elegant piece of the bag. This, you can't see it, but it does have an L and a J on the bag. And a lot of early collectors asked Judith if they could have their initials done into the design of the bag, which she did early on. And this was lent to us by Lola Jacobson, and was also a member. And that was really, I was able, amazingly enough, to get one with the initials on them. Also really exciting is this bag. This is the only bag that Judith did after a painting of Gerson's. That he was, as I said, an abstract expressionist painter, already well known in the States when they met. And this is a picture of a man and a woman toasting a champagne glass. And it was only one of 25 ever made, and we got to 25th. And here is another rope tassel. Beautiful. It's called the gift bag or the present bag. Really fantastic. Interesting. And as you can see here, this is the back of the Buddha. I can show you the front again. And there's semi-precious stones all over it. This is a gold Buddha. We do have a silver one also. This is a Fabergé egg-inspired bag. Just really neat. If I can get you closer. I do want to tell you later on, and I'll show you how, these white circles, if you could come back, you can get it from our website. You click the white circles like this, and it brings you wherever you want to go in the gallery. And you can scroll over my data points, and it brings you up all the information that you need to know for the show. So back here, and if you can see, this is one of my favorites in the show, this pink pig. It was really exciting to do this show. This is a really rare bag. This is called the ball bag. And here is another long rope tassel. And as you can see here, the many, many different colors. This is a box bag right here. And if you see on this rabbit, all these blues and yellows, if you look really carefully, blues, yellows, greens, these are clear crystals. But this is exactly what I was telling you. The light coming through the stained glass windows from top was hitting these, and it was exploding in my face, basically. All the different colors were refracting as I held them in my hands. And I mean, it was just, you know, that's what I was explaining before, just absolutely amazing. This is a silver Buddha right here with black and silver crystals. And we have a cat over here. You can see there. Let me bring us to another shot. Okay. Here's some more of the bright colors. If you can see this heart, there's many, many different colors in the designs. This metal bag, and I'll bring you over to the shell in a second, has all these patterns. There's no crystals on this one, but there's all these patterns hammered into the metal onto the bag. So the pattern is literally hammered into the metal, exactly what I'm saying. I mean, just truly, truly remarkable. This is another box bag, both of these. This is a gold with clear crystals. This is gold with many, many different colors on the patterns. And here is the front of that Buddha with the semi-precious stones around the neck piece, collar piece. Now, just like this metal bag, this shell, if you look closely, is really, really astounding, because if you notice, it's not just the pattern of the shell, it's also the striations into the metal bag itself. So you really get the craftsmanship, unparalleled craftsmanship. Each one of these bags is a work of art. This shell with these metal striations literally cut into the shell shape on the metal bag is just unbelievable. And then in addition, you have the crystals leading you through that. Really just, you know, and this is another view of the rabbit, and that's the front of the face. I mean, each piece that she did really was a work of art. This is a picture of Judith in 1967. And again, all the pictures are from the Lieber collection in New York. They're in East Hampton, New York. And she was a recipient of many awards, if you can imagine. This is 1980, Judith receiving the Neiman Marcus Award for her lifetime achievement in her work. And this is Judith in her factory, also in the late 1960s. And as I said, amazingly enough, it was her and 3 workers at the time creating these bags in their factory. I mean, just truly, truly remarkable. She kept the company until 1993. And at that point, she sold the company. And I made sure, you know, she stayed on as a design consultant for a number of years. But I made sure and authenticated each bag with the Lieber collection in New York. I wanted to make sure that every single bag I put into the show dates prior to 1993, with the exception of the last one she ever designed as a consultant. I'll show you that later. So each of these bags is prior to her selling the company in 1993. And this here is basically an installation in one case as an homage to Judith. And these are skin bags. And you might ask yourself, why did this look like so many bags crammed into one case? And the reason is, I'll show you as we move around later on. There's a very famous picture of Judith literally surrounded by her bags. And she loved to be surrounded by her creations. And later in life, as I'll show you the image, and in many different interviews she had, she, you know, was buying back as many of her early bags as possible. And they created the Lieber collection in East Hampton. And then put on display, as I said, as many of the different styles that she could, you know, collect again. And here are the skin bags. And if you notice, each of these also, the quality and craftsmanship of these skin bags are just as parallel to the crystal Minardiers. Here is a very rare one. This is a needlepoint bag, if you can see here, with the semi-precious stones at top. And here is gold right here with the striations inside with the semi-precious stones also. And here is semi-precious stones with gold in the snakeskin bag. And even here, we have silver filigree work on the top of this bag. And, you know, amazingly enough, when I was opening the Menardiers and these bags for installation from the lenders, I had such a difficult time trying to, here's a closer up image, open the bags, because I would have to say basically no two bags of the Menardiers open the same way. So I was also having that bit of an issue with these, because this obviously has a clasp. I know how to open it, but some of these pieces open at the top, some of these had flips, you know, and everything is my job really to preserve and protect the items that come into my collection. And I had to literally make constant phone calls. How do I open this? How do I open that before I started touching anything? You know, it was really crazy. These are beads. She sourced the beads and the stones from all over the world. And here you can see more semi-precious stones and the silver clap right here. And this is gold lame. This is also, I love gold lame. I was so excited to get this and put this piece in. Let me bring us through here. Okay. Judith also created belts, which were also just as amazing to look at and behold as the Menardiers. Everything in this show to me was a work of art. These belts are from the 1980s.
I don't know how to lower it. Okay.
Should I keep going?
Okay.
These belts are from the 1980s. You can also see their different skins, the snake skin, alligator, regular leather, semi-precious stones set in gold. And this we were really excited to get because this is a gold chain belt. I'm going to bring you around the other side. If you see
Is this? This started at, oh,
semi-precious stones at top.
comes from Florida. It's about a, that's what I asked Debbie if she knew the.
Can everybody mute themselves? It'll be easier.
Oh,
Everybody mute. So this is the gold chain belt right here with the semi-precious stones at the head. And again, as a woman, you know, it was such a dream of mine holding these beautiful belts. And I kept imagining, oh, I want to wear this one out, or I'll wear, and imagining in my mind these outfits I would create with these bags if I was ever, you know, with these belts, if I could ever wear one. And of course I couldn't, but it was just, you know, absolutely a joy to fantasize about that, I should say. Here's Judith, also from the late 1960s. And here you can see through the glass of the frame, also the stained glass windows that we have here. Judith designed, amazingly enough, all the inauguration bags for the first ladies from Mamie Eisenhower all the way through Laura Bush, which was quite a feat, quite amazing. And this is Barbara Bush holding her Judith Lieber bag. Judith had many fans during her career and lifetime. And this is Beverly Sills and Mary Tyler Moore holding their Fabergé egg Judith Lieber bags. Over here. Now, this is really interesting, and unfortunately, you can't get really interesting. There in the
What happened?
there in the echo.
I left the meeting and came.
Okay. Go.
What?
I left the
You
meeting.
you
and
hear
came.
my
No,
echo?
why did I lose it?
I don't know. This right here is when I design an exhibition, I try to put some element in the exhibition as an immersive element where people can really feel that they not only viewed the exhibition, but came inside it in some fashion to really get more out of the exhibition. Instead of just looking in cases, what I created here, really just on a lark, I just wanted to see what would happen. I created a red carpet with a whole bunch of paparazzi behind it, where people could literally hold the Judith Lieber bag and have their picture taken or take selfies or whatever. And I created that, you know, Judith Lieber, so to speak, bags by having my printer print them on very, very heavy museum board, exhibition board. And, you know, I just wanted to see what would happen. And amazingly enough, on the opening day, there was a line a huge, huge line to have your picture taken. And it was so fun. I couldn't even believe it. It was really shocking to me, but highly enjoyable. People had a good time with it. Let's bring you to some more bags over here. Now this is another, these you can really see the different blues and golds and yellows coming from our stained glass windows on these clear crystals. I did get quite a few of the different shapes and sizes. Here's another book stack that's just gold with clear crystals on it. This is also a gold with the clear crystals on it as well. And this is another box bag. This one has a little handle right there. And here again, if you look at this shell, which was a really neat one to open, it has literally a flip top right there. If you look closely, you can see all the different hammered elements, again, like that silver one I showed you previously on this gold bag, to give you the shell shape, you know, the lines inside the shell, in addition to the semi-precious stones and the clear crystals. So you're really getting the idea that the bags were a work of art. I mean, at this point. This one was very difficult for me to figure out how to open. Also, you're holding this, it looks like a sculpture. This is actually called a miser or hobo bag. And I have a clear one in a minute, I'll show you also. Let's spin us around the cases. This is another example of the hammered metal. This is a goose right there. And I want to try to show you, I mean, the different elements that make these bags were just amazing. If you look at the spine, even on this book stack, it's remarkable. And this is the caterpillar bag on this clip. We called it the caterpillar bag. And here again, you can see the different colors from the stained glass windows. I'm telling you, it was constant barrage for me of light exploding. Every single day I was treated to that. So in 2014, and again, if you get a chance to come back, you can get the full story, you know, just scroll through. Judith and Gerson were awarded from the state of New York a proclamation for the Lieber collection that they built. And they built this in East Hampton, a beautiful Palladian style building with, you know, landscape, beautiful gardens surrounding it, open to the public, where Judith displayed all her bags and Gerson some of his paintings too. And they do exhibitions all the time. They're open now. And you can, it's in East Hampton, New York. I know you guys are from up north, so you can get in touch with the director, Ann Fristow Stewart, and make an appointment and go out there when you get a chance. And you can really, you know, see, you know, much more in depth also. I mean, my exhibition is just a drop in the bucket for what they are, really amazing. So they were awarded this proclamation from the state of New York. And 2014, here they are, still together, still in love. This is Gerson, very handsome young man in the radio room during the war. He was a radio operator while he was stationed in Budapest. Let's bring you over. These are some more. These are images of the bags that I just showed you. I blew them up large so people could really see the craftsmanship of these individual ones with these prints and this butterfly bag right there. And these little cuties are pill boxes. And this is actually a Lifesaver candy holder. I thought it was a lipstick holder until we opened it and it pulled up for candy. I mean, it's just really remarkable.
Oh, should I text Craig or you?
This here is a charm belt, which was really, really, it's amazing. Each component to this charm belt works. This is a full-size compact, just truly remarkable. And of course, here's another one of these elements that I was desperate to wear, but couldn't, of course. And if you notice, the craftsmanship on these pill boxes is just like the larger Minaudiers. I mean, you have all the similar shapes. Here's a goose, here's a present, here's the Fabergé egg inspired, and a little Buddha right there. And your fruit slices. Look here, here's a monkey face. And if you look here, this was really one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. This is a miniature notepad, and it actually is gold with clear crystals, and it has actually paper on the inside and a pen that you can see right here. Truly remarkable. I mean, the stuff that she made was just unbelievable. And someone asked her later in life, what do we, now I wouldn't say later in life, but in the middle of her career, what do we do with these bags? They're so small, they can't fit anything. And Judith said, what else does a woman need besides a $100 bill and a lipstick? So they were small. For sure, you couldn't fit your iPhone in these bags. This is the original Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, holding her Judith Lieber bag. This is the early 1980s. Let me get you to some more bags over here. If you can get close. I love trying to get as close as possible so you can see, again, here's a light refracting. This is the back of a dragon right here, and look at all these semi-precious stones within the dragon. And this piece opens up right at this piece right here, this line. It literally opened up like a shell. Absolutely beautiful. And this is a compact right there. Let me bring us around a little bit. Nancy Cohen, who you just met, we borrowed this from her mother-in-law, actually, this piece right here with the snake. And this is an Art Deco inspired bag right there. Let's to another image. This is the front of that dragon right there. And here you have a gold bag, again, with a semi-precious stone and the clear crystals. These are really beautiful looking opaque crystals right there. Give the bag a pearl look. This is a frog. And let me see if I can show you this is reds, golds, blacks, and this piece here. And this is a closer look at the dragon. I do want to show you this lion over there. If you can see the back of this lion. This is also a box bag. And I had to figure out how to open this line because it did not open like the dragon. So it was really, really a lot of fun. Let me show you this picture now. As I showed you before, Judith being surrounded by her bags, and here we are. Judith literally surrounded by her bags. So you can see here the Fabergé bag, the shell right there, all these different sizes and shapes, and the skin bags. And so this is why I paid homage to her, or homage, I should say. We're very fortunate. The only two pieces that I did borrow that were not from collectors were these two from the Lieber collection in New York. And this beautiful peacock is the last bag that she ever designed. And unfortunately, I can't get you closer, but there's so many different blues within this one single bag. It's just stunning, stunning all the way around, all the craftsmanship. And this is a fruit slice. And it's a gold bag. So you see along the sides, unfortunately, I can't show you either, but it's a gold bag with the fruit slice, crystals on each side, just beautiful. And each of these monodiers, very important to note, came inside the bag with a comb, a compact, a change purse, and even I've seen some reading glasses, really fold up, really small, which were so neat to get, really, really neat. These pieces hanging from the ceiling, by the way, are not from this exhibition. It was from a previous exhibition by an artist named Myra Lair, who's 85, and she created all these organic shapes and abstract things. And I had asked her at the time when I was doing an exhibition of her work, I saw in a mobile in her house really quickly these tiny little versions of these. I called this show A Walk in the Garden, and what these are is dyed Japanese paper, burnt at the edges, covered in resin. I saw little ones, and I said to the lady, how fast, thinking of doing this exhibit, how fast can you make me 150? She said, I'll call you back. She calls me back, she says 3 weeks. And I said, great, done. That's it. We installed them, and there are 150 of these all over the ceiling. So we decided to keep them up for this show. We thought they were a good compliment. Pulling light again from the windows down into the gallery also. And now I'm open for questions. Anyone?
Hi, it's Deborah. The bags we're looking at today, were these done by commission, or did she just design them and put them out on the open market?
Both. I mean, you did have some on commission, like the ones with the initials on them, like Lola, you know, the one over there, Lola Jacobson, with the L and the J. And, you know, she did make, you know, certain styles like to put them on the market. So it was a mixture of both.
If you're interested, I have the prototype for the egg handbag.
Oh, I'd love to see it. You have it with you?
Yes, of course, because my father worked for Judith Lieber. And
You're kidding. Wow.
No, I have many bags.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You have a
So
lot.
if you'd like to see the I have many, but if you'd like to see the prototype for the egg bag, I could show it to you. But you'd have to take off the
All right, let me stop the share. Hold on. Okay, we're back to you.
Okay, so let me just okay, hold on. I just want to change the screen so I could see everybody. I don't have it on that. Why is it not showing me everybody? Oh, I know why.
You need to be in gallery view.
Yeah, I didn't have it in gallery. Okay, so this is the prototype for the egg.
Oh,
My father was a handbag framer, and he's one of the reasons that Judith Lieber was so successful, because he was very good at his work. Judith Lieber worked with my father at coveted handbags. That was the first handbag place. I believe that's the first handbag place that she worked at. And she pulled him over to her when she started business. He started working with her part-time, moonlighting with her. And then when she started her business full-time, he started working for her full-time. So this is the prototype.
wow.
For the egg handbag.
That's amazing.
That's
So I
amazing.
just want, and I have others, you know, I could show you everything if you want. I have, when she went into doing, well, you were talking about the different ways of opening the handbag. So this is one of the leather ones. You push it on the side. And you didn't mention that every handbag has her name.
Of course, yeah.
On the inside.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can all see.
Yeah.
And every handbag came with a little purse.
Yeah.
So the frame, this is handbag framer. This is what he put on. And because, like I said, he was so good at his work, you said there were only 3 people. He may have been one of the only 3 people that worked in her factory. So every handbag came with a purse and a mirror. Also, the box.
Yeah.
Which was look like this. This is another handbag, opened like a normal handbag. This is another one which opens this way, and the chain would go inside.
Beautiful. I hope you use these.
Well, you know what? The problem with this, I do, but the problem with this one is it broke. And I will tell you, years ago, when it broke, I went back to the factory when she was still there and asked if she could, well, at first I went to somebody in the neighborhood to see if they could fix it, and they could not. And I went back to the factory and spoke with her. This was in 85. It was right before my son was born. And I asked her if she could fix it. And she wasn't very nice and would not fix it. So I cannot use it. This is when she started the Python handbags. So this is a Python handbag. You can use it either this way as a short or as a long. And it opens like a book.
Wow.
You know, I keep everything in it that it comes with, all the stuffing. And yes, I've used this many times,
That is cool.
but I try and keep it in good shape. Also, the handbags come with, I don't have it in a bag, I don't think I have the bags here. Let me see if I have it. No, I have, the bags are over here.
This is fascinating. It's
In
so
a
adds
box
so much to the
with a
tour.
bag,
Right.
to keep them in good shape. This is somewhat of a bejeweled bag
Neat.
that opens. I don't know if you can see. Two-sided.
Mhm.
Okay, that's not one. And I have one more. Oh yeah, see these I keep in the bag. I did have it.
Ah,
This one
beautiful.
opens like this.
Wow.
And again, the handle comes out. So it could either be a clutch, or you can hold it by the handle. And yes, I do use it. And the last one, I often use it as well.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And again, you know, the handle comes out. Now, you were talking about belts, and I said to my husband, oh, belts, I forgot. I have the belts too. So he
You
ran
are such
downstairs.
a lucky woman. This is unbelievable.
He
Wow.
ran downstairs and got my box of belts. So, because I haven't worn them in years. So this is
Oh, that's the chain. Wow. Wow.
one of these.
So beautiful.
And, you know, I also had from my mother too. So they weren't all mine, but, you know, most of them were, but some of them, like the brown one was not mine. That was my mother's. But now what was interesting, and again, with the belts, you could see her name. What's interesting about the belts is that you can change the size.
Right.
So, and this is the front.
It's
And
gorgeous.
it hooks
Gorgeous.
like that.
Yeah, very unique.
Gorgeous.
So it actually has a price on it. I just noticed. I don't know, can you read it?
Python 150. When did you get that? They're worth a lot more today.
Well,
What is that price?
my father worked for her for about 20 years. He retired, I think, in 1983. So, you know, from the beginning when she started her business. So,
That belt was probably a sample because it had.
oh,
the-
everything is a
Yeah,
sample.
all samples, right. So those
Everything
are
is
all
a sample,
prices
yeah.
for what they would retail for would be
And
different.
here's, again, you know, you could see her name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
wow.
I don't have anything that wasn't a sample, believe me.
Right.
And this is the front of it. I
Oh,
also
that
have-
is cool. That is cool.
I also have like skinny ones, but they're in a drawer someplace. So, you know, and again, it was, you know, you can make it smaller or bigger, you know.
I'm curious
have
how many of these
Also
were
skinny
actual
ones, very
prototypes.
skinny ones someplace. But I'm not, you know, I didn't think about it. Otherwise, I would have looked for them, you know. So that's what I have. So,
Amazing.
It's great.
but I just wish she would have been a little nicer. That was the only thing.
Aw.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope
it.
that doesn't cloud your experience.
Well, It does a bit.
Oh,
That's the only thing. But I do use the handbags. I don't know if the belts fit me. You know, I haven't used them in years. I used to use them, but I haven't used them in years. So I haven't tried them on in a while. So those are mine.
beautiful.
Was she nice to your father, though?
Not at the very end.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you know, but
Are we asking questions in the chat or are we just speaking up? What are we doing?
Well, we
to you.
still, I believe we are supposed to see a video.
I'll
unless-
show that. I'll
Unless you
show
want to,
that now. I
okay,
can
unless you
show
want to
that
do
now.
the Q&A. You want to do the video and then the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll show the video. Hopefully I can get the sound to work.
Okay.
Let
I'm
me,
glad I was able to show, you know, a little bit closer some of the handbags for you. So you had a general idea of, you know, just looking at them, you can't really see what they look like inside and,
Right.
you know.
It's very cool,
And
Sherry.
the egg one, which was the prototype. And I've used the egg one too. I put a piece of material in it and I would use it to match whatever dress I was wearing. So I've used them.
Very creative.
I don't know why I'm having trouble running this video today. I can run it, but for some reason I'm not getting the usual cues that I have to get the sound. So it may take me 1 second to figure that out. So if you'll just bear with me. There we go.
A love of craftsmanship is at the heart of Judith Lieber. Learning from masters at the Handbag Makers Artisan Guild in Budapest, Judith, the only woman admitted in the guild, quickly became a master herself. Over 5,000 unique designs later, her name has become the standard in impeccably crafted evening bags. A Judith Lieber bag will always walk the line between art and handbag. Her creations are collected by the most prestigious museums around the world, but also grace the arms of fashion's most celebrated tastemakers. Each minodier takes up to 2 years from concept to creation, using the finest materials and employing the most experienced artisans. The designs are conceptualized in our New York studio and brought to life by our classically trained sculptor. The finished plaster model travels to Florence to be refined and duplicated in brass. Semi-precious stones are sourced from around the world and custom fit for each minodier. Facets are created with a diamond-tipped mill and hand-polished to perfection. Brass and white metal components are polished and detailed with semi-precious stones, crystal, and enamel. Designs use Italian leather, Austrian crystal, raw brass, sterling silver, and 24-karat gold. The model is scanned to create a 3-dimensional mold, which is used to create steel stamps. The archive shelves hold every design the factory has produced since 1963. A brass plate is stamped, cut, and soldered. Once the assembly process is complete and the minodier is polished, a final gold or silver plating bath finishes the bow. The first prototype is sent to New York, where crystal artwork is designed from a palette of 130 colors of Austrian crystal. The artwork is meticulously hand-painted directly on the brass sculpture, which takes 3 days to complete. Crystals are set over a 5-day period by one artisan who blends colors and reflects light to perfection. The bow is finished, an exquisite feat of craftsmanship that comes to life after passing through the hands of over 20 artisans. These are no ordinary artisans. Their hands convey the passion and love for the art they create, many of them dedicating their life's work to their specific skill. Each stone cut, each crystal set is deliberate and exact, a strive towards perfection and lasting beauty.
Okay, that's the film. So Jackie will take questions.
Any questions?
Who bought the business in 1993?
I don't remember. It did subsequently change hands a few times. As you just saw the video, that's a video from basically today, pretty modern. It's huge, obviously. It's a whole production now, factory and etc. I don't remember who she first sold it to in 1993.
Jackie, did you mention the value of the bags that we had on display?
We insured the minodiers for what, $5,000?
$5,000.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, what do they cost today to buy a new one?
Same thing.
they're thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And the original, we spoke to one collector who was collecting the original bags, and she would get them from other collectors, or she would find them in antique shows and purchase them. So one of the collectors that loaned to the exhibit had how many bags and pillboxes, hundreds and
Oh
hundreds.
my God, yeah.
Remarkable. She lived in New Jersey, and she had a home in Palm Beach, and we went up there with 2 suitcases and picked up, I don't know, 50, 60 pieces of Judith Lieber. It was remarkable.
So would you say my collection is worth a lot of money?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So these bags that you have are on loan, correct?
Yes.
Correct. I guess it's not totally amazing in the area that these bags come from, that there are so many women who had these or have these bags.
Yeah.
Will it be possible?
So if I paid for a bag $600, how much would it be worth today?
I mean, is it, what's the condition? Anything missing?
Nothing.
Nothing missing? Wow, I mean.
Perfect
probably-
condition.
Perfect condition.
Probably $1,000. The skin bags are probably worth at least $1,000 to $1,200, I would think.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you.
Do you think you'll be able to hold on to the exhibit until the quarantine lifts?
The exhibit is up in perpetuity on our website. Unfortunately, I had to get the bags out of there and return them to the lender. So the exhibition is down, but yeah. But as far as
What you saw is actually a virtual reality tour that we created, and we will have it available for a long time. So if you ever want to see it again or recommend the tour to another Hadassah group, we're going to keep doing these for as long as we can. It's one way to share our museum across the world, and we're very proud of this exhibit, and we have other exhibits going to virtual as well. So
can I ask, what is in the East Hampton? So what is on display at East Hampton?
they rotate the bags. So, you know, from the huge collection, they rotate in, rotate out. The bags, some of Gerson's paintings, and the grounds are absolutely stunning. Like the gardens, and the building itself is stunning.
They also had some at the Nassau Museum. They had handbags at one point. I don't know if they still do.
No, they don't.
We saw a small exhibit in Long Island. I think it was Deer Park, in a little house almost of her bags and of the Gerson's artwork also. But it was a very full collection about 2 years ago, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. We were the only ones there. I think there were 3 of us, Elaine, Inez, and I.
Jackie, had you been able to get to New York when there was an exhibit at the Museum of Design and Art, Columbus Circle?
When was it? I haven't been. I'm born and raised in New York, but I haven't been back up there about a year and a half.
This is a few years ago.
Okay.
Yes, that was a nice.
Everybody, please mute yourself because you're causing echoes.
That's it. Does anybody have any other questions? We take advantage of our experts here today.
You can also.
I think our expert is your member is really an expert. It's amazing to have her contribute today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sherry.
Sherry, that was great.
Talk about a personalized tour. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
It was really cool. Yeah.
We've done a few, we've done, like I said, over 60 of these tours, and it makes it more fun to have that personal story. We've had some other people that worked in stores where they sold Judith Lieber or had their own little collection. And it's really been fun for Jackie and I to hear those stories as well. So I really appreciate that, Sherry.
It was all wonderful to see, especially it's as you well know, there's a lot of snow on the ground. It's a very gray day here in New York, so this was perfect timing. Any questions? Karen, anything no, we're good?
Well, thank you
Thank you.
again for having us, inviting us into your homes.
Oh, we
and,
thank you.
we enjoyed it. It's beautiful here. I can't say that we have snow on the ground. Miami Beach today is about 80 degrees and gorgeous. Sorry.
Rub it in, rub it in. We look forward to getting down to Florida and coming to see the museum again or in person. We thank you so much for bringing this tour to us. It was beautiful. It was lovely.
Thank
And
you. I
thank you to
put our
Sherry.
website, I put the address of our website in the chat. And if you want to see the tour again, it is available. If you click on exhibits, there's a way to look at to view it yourself. And if you want to go back and look, or some of our other options, and we invite you to take a look. But thank you again. Thank you for everything.
And just one last thing, if any of you know any of the Hillcrest ladies, hopefully you'll tell people what a wonderful time you had today. And if you know of someone who's interested in doing this for their own organization, get in touch with me because I've got all the contact information for Nancy.
Thank you, Deborah. I really appreciate that. We're about to advertise in Hadassah magazine, as a matter of fact. We'll be in their April newsletter and in their May-June edition. So I've been working with them. We're going to have a third page ad in the magazine. So
Good to hear.
Well,
thank you
very much.
All right, take care.
you.
Thank you. Nice to
Thanks,
meet
everybody,
everybody.
for coming.
Bye, thank
Keep
you.
warm. Okay, bye-bye.